Good evening and welcome to Thorold City Council. First on our agenda is councilors. Are there any conflicts of interest? Councilor Longo.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to declare a conflict on item 5A, number 1, Iowa Sport Commission, because I'm on the board of directors.
Okay, thank you. The clerk will so note that. Okay, we'll move on to minutes. Minutes of the regular council meeting held on June 6, 2017. Councilor Sharon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, second by Councilor Neal, that the minutes of the regular council meeting held on June the 6th, 2017 be received and adopted.
Thank you, Councilor. Are there any items for discussion in these minutes? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Minutes of the special council meeting held on June 6, 2017. Councilor Eagerly.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Hanley, that the minutes of special council meeting held on June 6, 2017 be received and adopted.
Thank you, Councilor. Are there any items for discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. I'll move on to my mayor's report. On behalf of Thorold City Council, I would like to take a moment to recognize and thank Wendy Fisher, Thorold's Senior of the Year. Ms. Fisher is a dedicated volunteer whose generous gift of her time makes Thorold a better place to live. Thank you, Ms. Fisher, for all that you do to make our community great. Thorold's Canada 150 Committee has commemorative items available for purchase. Don't miss your opportunity to show off our specially designed logo and your patriotism with a Thorold 150 t-shirt or sweatshirt. T-shirts are $10, sweatshirts are $30, and are available at City Hall. Rumor has it that hats will soon be on their way also. Supplies are limited, so don't delay. I'd like to extend our thanks to the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority for their generous contribution to the Mel Swart Lake Gibson Conservation Park. This morning, a new pollinator garden was added to the park. Our thanks also go to Mr. Dominic DeCrucio, who is our representative on the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority for the beautiful sugar maple tree that was donated by his family and planted in the park also today. Don't forget to join us in the Battle of Eran's Park on July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd this year. The fun begins on July 1st with the annual Canada Day community celebration. There will be family-friendly entertainment, live music, food, and much more beginning at 12 p.m. Then, on July 2nd and 3rd, come back to the park to enjoy the blues on the battlefield, the newest blues festival in Canada. Admission is $5 per person each day. We look forward to celebrating Canada's 150th birthday with you and your family. And that concludes my report. And we have, I believe, just one delegation today, and it'll be Carolyn McCormick, President of Friends of Lower Seacord, and she wants to talk to us about the First Nations Monument. And Carolyn, I guess you're going to give us an update.
And council, nice to see you again. Hi. Good evening, Mayor Luciani and council. It's been nearly 2 years since we were last here to speak with you about the First Nations Monument project. It was only an idea at the time, and a lot has happened since then. We have provided more information about the project, its importance, the benefits to the region, as well as some of those involved in the brochure we sent to you earlier, although it is in need of some updating. So this evening, we just wanted to give you a brief update on the project and answer any questions that you might have at this time. I'm joined by part of the monument team. They are all experts in various aspects of the project. Robert McKenzie with Quartet Group, who's remarkable help with the landscape plan and project management. Dave Brown, our Vice President and Brockview Professor, and he's involved with the educational potential via the digital platform. And Bob Watson, who's quite an amazing stone expert and historian. So here we have a picture of Laura Secord meeting the First Nations warriors late in her journey. I can tell you she probably didn't look that good after 16 hours on the trail. But Laura Secord's uneasy but extremely important interaction with First Nations warriors in her fateful journey in 1813 is powerfully symbolic of the cross-cultural interaction and critical alliances between Indigenous peoples and early settlers who galvanized their forces against American invaders, changing the course of Canadian history. The importance of the monument. The First Nations monument is intended to generate a deeper understanding of the heritage and ongoing history of Canada's First Nations people, illuminate the critical role they played in the defining of our country, and provide an invitation to understand and reflect upon the divisions that extend back to our earliest days in a spirit of respect and reconciliation today. What started 2 years ago with a humble conceptual design has changed significantly since. We were greatly honored when internationally renowned architect of Aboriginal heritage, Douglas Cardinal, who was so inspired by the project, he offered to design it for us pro bono. It's a priceless in-kind contribution. He's known around the world for his gracious curvilinear designs, and how incredible to have one of his masterpieces here in Niagara. So here's a few daytime views of the monument. And where are we at this point? I see some font mistakes there. Anyway, so a lot has been undertaken over the past couple of years. Surveys, coordination with OPG, NEC, and PCA, permits, permissions, assessments, ecological, environmental, and conservation aspects, the major excavation and foundation, and what an incredible contribution by Brandon Construction. They donated the entire foundation aspect, and we're very grateful. The stone processing, this 50,000 pounds of stone is being was excavated and is being processed, of the ledge rock being milled, and then it's in parts that are already at owned in Ottawa for carving by an expert carver. And we've also been working on the landscape plans. There's critical in-kind support from the Quartet Group because it's such an important component of the overall project. We've also been very busy with fundraising. We were grateful for and acknowledge the support from the Government of Canada, Canada 150 Fund, and many others, community-minded organizations at different government levels and throughout the community. And so where do things stand now? As I said, the stone is in various stages of cutting, milling, and finish carving, and the monument is expected to be assembled on site mid-August. Development of, been working on the landscaping plan, which will be implemented before, concurrent with the assembly work of the monument, and after the monument is completed, in preparation for the ceremony event on Saturday, September 16th. We realized that those with mobility issues may have some difficulty at the site, and we felt we needed to consider a hard surface pathway. We asked Douglas Cardinal if he would be able to provide a design that would complement the monument, and then we applied for some support from the Rick Hansen Foundation. And they were very happy to advise that they will be providing funds towards the pathway costs so that those with mobility issues will be able to experience the history of the site at the same level as their peers. The Rick Hansen Foundation is quite excited to be part of this prestigious historic project, and it will also be an opportunity to build awareness and understanding of those with disabilities. Through the digital platform, there will also be opportunity to, for those with visual impairment, to better understand the elements of the monument, and also consideration has gone into the choices of plants to provide a sensory aspect for those also with sight impairment. We have consulted with 3 disability accessibility experts in the area, and we'll be working with them on awareness building opportunities as a part of the event. There are many important varied aspects of this project in addition to the actual monument, and there's the landscaping for one, and with design project management expertise provided by Quartet Group, site improvement considerations will be addressed, including pathway construction, parking lot versus monument area enhancement, signage, electrical, including lighting and future programming, surveillance, and plantings, and they are being considered by ease of maintenance, drought resistance, conservation restrictions and enhancements, and sensory potential, view, and aesthetics. And we had a site meeting and have had follow-up with experts at Niagara College and NPCA, and they will be guiding us on certain aspects of the plant choices. So we know at this point you probably have a number of questions and I'll ask our people to come up and help answer any questions you might have on the actual design. This site plan shows that the little small circle is the monument, the bigger circle is the pathway, and then there's this sort of the winding trail to the parking lot. The trees that are shown are the ones that are actually there right now, and the plan doesn't show what the actual plan for the plantings are. So I'm going to ask the rest of our team to come up, and if you've got any questions on this aspect or any other, we would welcome the opportunity to provide further information. That's it. I don't know what I can leave that on. These are some of our supporters, and there's more to add. But that's it. This was more of an opportunity to speak with you about any questions you had about the ceremony, the landscape aspect, maintenance, and so on.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for Ms. McCormick and her friends? Councilor Neal.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, to you, to Carol. Great. It's going to be fantastic. The time frame, September 16th, you have no problem with being completed by that time?
No, we hope not. Yeah, there's, we hope we have considered any variables that might arise, but we feel confident that the monument and the pathway and the landscaping will be complete, and we'll plan a very, very nice opening ceremony for September 16th.
And my second question is, you asking the city for anything towards the opening ceremonies, one thing,
Uh,
and any other enhancement of the parking lot, for instance, that type of thing?
We haven't, we would hope the city would be willing to be part of the event planning. We know that probably tenting and that might be appropriate to have on the parking lot site and around. We'd be happy to keep you informed with what's happening the event. Any help from the city of Thorold would be certainly very welcome.
And the second question is not regarding the monument itself, but I know you're working on another part of that on the St. Catharines, the St. Catharines side of the Broad Hill. Are you working on that?
Yes.
To come together at the same time as this
Yes.
particular?
Yes, so the St. Catharines or region involvement in the project is we are planning to have a marker of some sort, probably a large boulder with a plaque at the encampment site, which is an area that was believed to be the area that Laura Seacrest came upon the First Nations warriors late in her journey. And it was warriors from that encampment that escorted her the final distance to Q House. So we have been in communication with the people at the region as well as the St. Catharines, and there will be some sort of small ceremony there on the same day or around that time to recognize that very significant site.
Councilor Eagerly?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Are you coming to our Canada 150 committee meeting? Is that in your plans?
I've been, I had met with Stu Warren and Tim Geddes, I believe, and I've told them they know about the project. We are hoping that obviously that group will be do whatever they can to help support this project and be part of the opening event.
Because since it's a Canada 150 project and we have a committee in place, I think that we should work together and to bring that. So I'll bring a motion up.
Yes, I've asked them, and I think right now they're waiting for some further information to help. And we just formalized the date, and there's a number of things that we wanted to formalize. Now we're ready to get this whole project out into the media, starting locally and beyond.
Any other questions? I don't have a question, but more of a comment, just a follow-up on what Councilor Eagerly is just saying is that probably if the city can help you, it'll have to be through the 150 committee.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I would suggest
Yeah.
you connect with them,
Mm-hmm.
and from there I think we can maybe get something done for you.
Okay.
And I just like, Ms. McCormick, I'd just like to thank you for this. It's absolutely stunning monument that's going to be
It's
placed
going
in
to
that
be.
park. And it's something that you should be proud of for the rest of your life. I know here in Thorold, we will be extremely proud of it. It's what it is. It's probably going to be a centerpiece of what's going on all along DQ Road right now with Beaver Dams Church and Melsport Park and then DQ Park and the monument and the ruins. And if you go down the road more, you have the flour mill. So it's starting to become a very substantial, that whole road would be a substantial tourist attraction.
Yes, and I agree, and we're delighted that this project will be a part of all these further initiatives. I just thought before we close, I just wanted Rob to just go over quickly what is happening on the landscape aspect of the project. I think we've just a minute or two left, just because there are going to be some changes that we're proposing to the actual site that will enhance, so I'm not sure, Dave, how do you go back on this? So,
Yes, certainly. Just a very brief, what we're attempting to do is the monument speaks for itself. And so the whole approach to the landscape is to let it be an object in the landscape. So a lot of what you see now is going to be naturalized and preserved. So it's not intended to be flowered up, but it will have introduced some native species, and there will be a significant white pine that it will see centered in the turn, the circular path as a focal icon, not to outplay the monument, but to show cultural connections in other ways aside from the monument itself. So there's an overlay of significance on the site. To talk about impact on the site, there is some berming, largely at the parking area to help obstruct car lights that would affect some of the drama that we're looking for in evening hours with the lighting and illumination of and of course, like anything, we need some infrastructure. So what you see under the surface will be conduit and things that we're trying to make provision for now so that we don't have to disrupt the site in the future. So those things have been taken into account with the most recent layout, and those have been shared with Ken Riva and others at staff level, so we're aware of what we're proposing to do to minimize the impact on the site for maintenance purposes in the future.
Okay. Thank you for that.
and that's it. I think it's been a pleasure to be here, and we look forward to celebrating with the city on September 16th with some hopefully some very important dignitaries keeping us company.
Well, we look forward to being there, for sure.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Carolyn. Okay. Communications, items referred to council, and it's an item that I refer to council. Mayor, will you take over, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can you do the presentation for us?
Yeah, I will do that. Moved by myself, second by Councilor Wilson. Whereas the Niagara Sports Commission created the Supporters Program a few years back with the purpose to increase their revenues and support the sustainability of Niagara Sports Commission in their initiative to continue to attract sports tourism to the Niagara region. And whereas Niagara Sports Commission has delivered on a number of successes and will continue to leading up to the 2021 Canada Summer Games. And whereas it is deemed desirable for the city of Thorold to be part of the supporters program, be it hereby resolved that the city of Thorold join the supporters program at a cost of $650 to be funded from the economic development / tourism budget. And I'll speak to that a bit. The 650 number is a number devised as our by population number with all the 12 municipalities contributing. So it's not just us. St. Catharines would contribute much more, probably 10 times as much as that. And I'd also like to say this, that the main stadium and that will be built on Brockland, right there across the street in Thorold. So, and also a wrestling facility, dressing room facilities. They'll also probably, I believe, and Mr. Riva can correct me, I think we've been contacted about using McMillan Park as practice facility. I don't know if you have done or not yet. So it's for $650. We're doing pretty good. So that's all I have to say about it.
Mr. Mayor, any discussion of the motion? None being said, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? Opposed? So passed.
Thank you. Okay, I'll take over again. volunteer committees. Councilor Neal.
Mr. Mayor, it's moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Sharon, that the communications on the list of correspondence 5D, minutes correspondence from volunteer committees, be received for information purposes and filed.
Thank you, Councilor. Are there any items for discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Reports, correspondence from the region of Niagara. Councilor Longo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Councilor Payon that the communications on the list of correspondence 5E, reports correspondence from the region of Niagara, be received for information purposes and filed.
Thank you, Councilor. Are there any items for discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Items for information purposes. Councilor Whalen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Neal, the communications on the list of correspondence 5F be received for information purposes and filed.
Thank you, Councilor. Again, are there any items for discussion? Seeing none, I'll call a question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We're into reports. Councilor Hanley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, second by Councilor Longo, to commit to the general committee meeting held on June 6, 2017, be received and adopted.
Thank you, Councilor. Are there any items for discussion in these minutes? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Other business. Councilor Whalen. Councilor Neal. And Councilor Ugalini. Go ahead, Councilor Whalen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Over the last short while, I know that any other councils have had any issues with respect to the speed limits and the hazards in the waterway, Welland River and Canby Street in Port Robinson. There's been a big issue with a lot of the residents living on the back that are prone to speeds and wakes coming up on the shores. So, according to Mr. Riva, being it's a federal jurisdiction, they have to apply for a speed limitation there because there's no, due to the size of it, they don't have any say in it. And then go along with that, what they're recommending is that we put either slow down or limit your wake and wash signs along the Thorold side of the river. So therefore, I'd like to ask the staff report to come back to see how many we need. Unfortunately, it'll be an overrun because we can't use the road allowance budget for these type of signs. So if we get a staff report to come back, let us know how many people that we can put the signs on their private property, just to stop some of the hazards in there.
Yeah.
And then go along with that, we can ask the staff to start promoting the federal government to issue some kind of speed limitations on there.
So you're requesting a report and a cost for signage?
That's right. Yes. So, get Councilor Neal to second that.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions to the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the motion. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Councilor Neal.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tomorrow is a big event here in Thorold, an age-friendly event put on by Thorold, Welland, and Pelham age-friendly committees. And as our main speaker, of course, is Hazel McCallion, which is on tomorrow afternoon. So I'd just like to promote the event tomorrow at Avicii's here in Thorold. And I believe that, are there any tickets still available?
The event is sold out.
The event is sold out, and that's good. So anyways, those people that would like to maybe come out, they might at least want to hear about it.
I can speak to that. Coach Cole will be in attendance for our morning session, so they'll be there till noon, and then it'll be replayed on Coach Cole on the 24th of June at 2 p.m.
Great. Councilor Ugalini.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Two issues. I've got a request from the TAAA that I'd like to bring to council, and I'll read the letter they sent. We are pleased to announce that once again, the TAAA will be hosting the Niagara Ice Dogs on Friday, September 1st, 2017. In the past, we have had a goal to swiftly rebrand our association to respect all cultures in Canada. We have successfully initiated the rebranding and have decided on a new logo to represent all our members. The Ice Dogs event is part of our ongoing efforts to raise funds to replace all of our current hockey jerseys to the new rebranded logo. In the past, Thorold City Council has aided us in our efforts to support the change. I am currently asking the City Council to aid us once again in donating the ice time for this event. Our needs are approximately 4 hours of ice time. Initial on the ice begins at around 6:25 until it ends between 9 and 10. We will require a flood after warm-up and at the end of each period. Your help in this matter would be greatly appreciated by all members. So I'd like to bring a motion forward.
Before you bring a motion forward, Councillor, who is that letter addressed to?
This letter is addressed from the Thorold Amateur Athletic Fundraising Committee to whom it may concern.
To whom they concern. How come you got it and it didn't?
Because it come to me in an email.
Okay, well, it didn't go through the proper channels, it didn't go to the clerk's department.
So you want this, I can get them to send it through the clerk's
I
department.
I just want you to send a message back that from now on, to have them, they want something done like this, put it through the proper channels. The proper channels are either the clerk's department or the mayor's department. Okay? And that's, I'm not trying to make an issue.
No, and I asked them to do that, but it come about late and then they give me this to bring. I can defer it to next council meeting. That's
No, let's
I don't have a problem.
continue with
There's
it.
plenty of time to get this done prior to the game in September 1st.
No, that's okay, we'll continue.
Well, okay, then I will bring a motion. Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Longo, that we have the ice fees for the Niagara Ice Dogs exhibition game on Friday, September 1st. That we waive the ice fees for the Niagara Ice Dogs exhibition game on Friday, September 1st, as all proceeds are going to the support of the rebranding logo change of the TAA minor hockey teams. And that's the motion.
That's the motion on the floor. Are there speakers to the motion? Councilor Bayon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's a great thing to back, just that traditionally we have a dollar amount too. Can we have a friendly amendment for the dollar, approximation of the dollar amount in that motion?
Any other speakers? I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We need a dollar amount. Dave? Dave, could you give us a dollar
4
amount?
hours of ice would be approximately $850, approximately.
How much?
4 hours of ice, at prime rate would be approximately $850.
Okay. Approximately $800. Okay, that's the motion on the floor. There's no more speakers. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
I got one other in.
Okay, go right ahead.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I have another motion, moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Neal, that we refer the Friends of Lawrence Seacourt to work with the Canada 150 Committee on the First Nation Stone Monument project.
That's the motion. Do you have a seconder?
Councilor.
Okay, speakers to the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Are there any notice of motions? Yeah, and everything in the notice of motion. Basically, as you all know, last week I was in Montreal at the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Initiative, and it's something that I asked for a year ago to be a member of. I think it's very important thing for the city to be a part of. There's 130 Canadian and U.S. cities surrounding the lakes, and the idea of the initiative is the water. It's the cleaning of the water, the hydrology of the water. We talked about a number of issues, and we passed 8 motions. Some of them are quite lengthy, and so I want to bring each one. There's 8 of them. We're going to divide them in 3 because some of them are quite lengthy. Over the next 3 meetings, we'll bring them back in over 3 meetings. You can have a good look at them, you can question me if you have questions. I'll try to answer them. If I can't, I'll try to get the answers for you. But that's my notice of motion, and it'll be presented next week, and we'll probably have 3 motions next council meeting. 3 of the motions that were passed. So and it's a good way for me to give you a report of basically what went on. Okay, so I'll present that in 2 weeks' time. Okay, any other notice of motions? Adjournment, Councilor Pion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Longo, that this meeting is hereby adjourned at 7:06 p.m.
All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Okay, you want to move right into general committee? Okay, we'll do so. I'd call this meeting to order. First off, are there any conflicts of interest? Seeing none, we have the delegations, nothing in the administration section, we'll move right into finance. EF 2017-12 tax bill cap classes 2017, Ms. Morrow.
The recommendations that the final levy dates for the cap classes be set at July 28th and August 31st, that the necessary amendments be made to the levying bylaw, and that the dates be so advertised in Niagara this week and on the city's website. And this concludes the report.
Thank you, Ms. Morrow. Take a move for the report. Councilor Uglini.
So move the report.
Speaks to the report. Councilor Whalen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to compliment Ms. Laurel and her team in the IT department on the conversion of the IT electronic format that they're going into. Sure, the growing pains weren't easy, but one step backwards to probably 10 forward. So
I agree with you, because I'm sure learning that software and having staff learn that software must have been one grueling experience. But we're at it, and I also commend Ms. Morrow on her hard work. Okay, any other speakers? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. DF 2017-14, financial statements 2016.
The recommendation is that council approve the draft consolidated financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2016.
Thank you, Ms. Morrow. Can I get a mover for the report? Councilor Neal.
So moved.
Speakers to the report. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. DF 2017-15, accounts payable for May 2017.
The recommendation is that the accounts payable for the month of May in the amount of $5,930,375.59 be received and submitted to council for approval. This concludes the report.
Thank you, Ms. Morrow. Can I get a move for the report? Councilor Whalen.
So move the report.
Speakers to the report. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We're in the operations section, DOR 2017-11, Canadian Association of Veterans and United Nations Peacekeeping proposal to erect a plaque in Memorial Park.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the recommendation is that council support the proposal submitted by the Canadian Association of Veterans in United Nations Peacekeeping. This concludes the report.
Thank you, Mr. Akers. Can I get a mover for the recommendation? Councilor Hanley.
So move the report, Mr. Mayor.
Are there any speakers to the report? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. DOR 2017-13, tender award for Robinson Park gazebo. It's Mr. Akers again.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the recommendations are the council approve the award for the Port Robinson gazebo to Pair Site Furnishings in the amount of $29,850, HST excluded. The council approve a budget overrun of $2,460 to be funded from the Parkland Reserve Fund to cover the additional project costs as outlined in this report. and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute the necessary documentation to complete this transaction. This concludes the report.
Thank you, Mr. Akers. Move for the report, Councilor Sharon.
So moved.
Speakers to the report. Seeing none, I call a question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We're into the Development and Engineering Services area. DES 2017-48. Tender award surface treatment Turner Road, Youngblood Lane, and Lakeview Cemetery contract number 2017-185. Mr. Delwater.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The recommendations are that the tender for contract number 2017-185, surface treatment apartments on Turner Road, Youngblood Lane, and Lakeview Cemetery be awarded to Northern Contracting and Dairy Limited in the adjusted amount of $162,375 excluding HST, as determined by the unit prices and quantities involved, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute the necessary agreement. That concludes the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Delwater. Can I get a mover for the report? Councilor Payon.
So move the report.
Speakers to the report. Councilor Ewing.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, do we have a timeline on when we might be able to start?
I think from our standpoint, it is, it's a priority step, and then it has to be completed as soon as possible. So our pressure to them will be to get moving ASAP.
Councilor Whalen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Quick question to you. When I see resurfacing the cemetery, which portion is being resurfaced? The old cemetery, the new cemetery? Sorry, whether it's
Through you, Mr. Mayor, Councilor Whalen. It'll be the old cemetery. That's the one that's in most need. So that's what we're going to do.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? I'll call a motion. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. DES 2017-52, Hansler Heights Subdivision Pre-Servicing Agreement. Mr. Delwater.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The recommendations are that the council approves the developer's request to proceed with the underground servicing of Hansler Heights subdivision prior to the execution of the subdivision agreement, subject to the provisions set out in the pre-servicing agreement, and that the appropriate bylaw authorizing the execution of the agreement be approved at the special council meeting this evening. That concludes the recommendation. Thank you.
Can I get a move for the report? Councilor Longo.
So move the report.
Speakers to the report. Seeing none, I'll call a question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. DES 2017-53, tender award Ordnance Street resurfacing contract number 2017-140.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The recommendations are that the tender for contract number 2017-140, Ormond Street resurfacing, be awarded to Northern Contracting and Paving Limited for the amount of $271,366 excluding HST, as determined by the unit prices and quantities involved, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute the necessary agreement. That concludes the recommendation. Thank you.
Can you move for the report? Councilor Ewing.
So move the report.
Speakers to the report. Councilor Longo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To the appropriate staff member, just wondering what section of Ormond Street this is?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it's from Pine to Regent. From Pine Street to Regent? Sorry,
From Regent to...
Regent to Pine. That's what
Pardon?
Regent to...
That's what I got from our manager of engineering, that from Pine to Regent.
So that's part of Richmond's.
Richmond, probably. Go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I believe it's Linden Street.
Yeah, Linden to Regent.
Yes.
And do we have a time frame, like how long the construction will take?
Yeah, I don't have that estimate at this point in time. We will provide that information to you.
Thank you very much.
Councilor Allen.
Saying Mr. Mayor, staff, I think the people in that area are going to be rejoicing big time. I can't tell you how many times over the years we probably have had, when's it going to be done? So it's going to be great to finally see it get done. So.
Well, there's going to be a lot of happy people when it is done, especially that section. Any other questions? Councilor Neal?
Yeah, maybe once it is done, at one time we're thinking of giving it back to the region. Are we still considering
We got to
doing
get
that?
all of it done.
Oh, we have to get all of it done?
Yeah.
Isn't the other part pretty well done?
And maybe a difficult chore.
Just want to make a
Go ahead, Councilor.
quick comment,
Hanley.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Sharon and Councilor Hanley.
I was talking to a lady about another matter, and she did not, she talked about Orange Street in a very negative way. And as far as the people are concerned, they think this is a really big, important project to get done as quickly as possible. And it would be wonderful, I know that the total cost is outrageous to do the whole thing, but she said you should be ashamed of yourself. I am.
Wow. Go ahead, Mr. Ripa.
Through Mr. Mayor, if I could just make a correction, I believe it's from Portland Street to Regent, not from Linden.
Okay. Portland Street. Okay.
Portland.
This got 100 yards taken up. Councilor Hanley.
Just to ask, when we were discussing this just a couple of meetings ago, I thought we had heard a figure that we were gonna, how much, put it this way, how much we budgeted for in the budget? 500,000? For paving on Norman Street in 2017? See, Mr. Mayor, the appropriate staff member, sorry, Maria.
Mr. Mayor, the amount for 2017 is 336,729. That was the budget. Thank you.
I'm just asking because I thought through discussions here at council that one staff member had stated. Go ahead, Mr. Mayor, if I can, through you to Mrs. Morrow.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, for the budget, we actually had Ormond Street from St. David's to Portland at a cost of $1.8 million. But our portion that we were funding is the 336. The balance was to come from the OSIP top-up, which we were not successful in receiving. So what the Public Works and Engineering they've done is they scaled back the project just to the extent of funding that we had. That was sole source funding.
Okay, thank you very much. That's great. And if I can, just a follow-up. So then, it's budgeted for 300,000. Is it a carryover to next year? The monies that were set aside for the paving this year, we can put it towards further project?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, well, there's not much left. You had 336, and the balance will be carried forward or applied to some other overruns, depending on the situation. The 1.8 million, the portion that was to be funded from grants, we can't carry that forward because we didn't receive it. But certainly, if there is another round of grant application, perhaps council would consider reapplying for Ormond Street.
Thank you. I had this day, and we only have 20 grand left anyway, so. Great, thank you very much.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Okay, DES 2017-54 tender award bus laybys, contract number 2017-620.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The recommendations are as the tender for contract number 2017-620 bus lay buys in various locations be awarded to Saco Construction Limited in the amount of 150,000 excluding HST, as determined by the unit prices and quantities involved, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute the necessary agreement. That concludes the recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Longo. Can I get a mover for the recommendation? Councilor Neal?
So moved.
Are there any speakers to the recommendation? Councilor Longo?
Just a quick question here, and I don't need a full list of where these are going to be. Were they going to be mainly on the major arteries in town?
Sure, Mr. Mayor, that's the intent, yes. So this, the 50% of the funding for this is coming from the public transit infrastructure fund. We received 626,000 as part of that funding, and so this project is funded. 50% is coming from the PDIF. Thank you.
So do you have a rough estimate of how many laybys we get for this kind of money?
I can circulate this to council members where we are trying to put together the deliveries so that we will have that information.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll call a motion. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We're now in First Department, CC 2017-28. Ms. Roulet?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The recommendations of the report are that Dan Peltier, Ken Sentence, Jean D'Amelio Swire, and Tony Vandermatt be appointed to the Parks, Trails, and Recreation Advisory Committee. That Nicole Hurst and Marty Wilson be appointed to the Darlene Ryan Fort Robinson Community Center Board of Management. That Tony Vandermatt be appointed to the Thorold Tourism Advisory Committee. And that Andrew McMillan and Italo Maradona be appointed to the Town and Town Advisory Committee. This includes the report.
Thank you, Ms. Roulet. Can I get a mover for the recommendation? Councilor Sharon?
So moved.
Speakers to the recommendation? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We have nothing in the fire and emergency services. We're not going in camera. So, we're moving into special counsel. Moved by Councilor Payne, second by Councilor Sharon, that we do now rise and enter into special counsel. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Moved by Councilor Payne, seconded by Councilor Sharon, that the recommendations of the following reports be approved. DF 2017-12, 14, 15. DOR 2017-11, 13. DES 2017-48, 52, 53, 54. CC 2017-28. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Moved by Councilor Cleon, seconded by Councilor Sharon, that leave be given to introduce the following bylaws. Bylaw number 66-2017, bylaw number 67-2017. Excuse me. Bylaw number 68-2017. And that the same now be read at first. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Moved by Councilor Payne, seconded by Councilor Sharon, that the bylaws just read the first time be read a second and third time and do pass, and that the mayor and clerk do sign and seal the same, any will of this council to the contrary notwithstanding. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Moved by Councilor Payne, seconded by Councilor Sharon, that this meeting is hereby adjourned at 7:25 p.m. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried.